Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Final Whistle with me, Matt Cadell. Chris James, a.k.a. Dan's big brother, co-founder of The Final Whistle. And Blazes Hayes' first cousin, Ty Hayes, all around the table sports, constant college football. And, ladies and gentlemen, Lushan, Final Whistle analyst, one of the GOATs. And as always, Final Whistle Dan, our lead recruiting analyst. And last but not least, everybody, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who helped founded the Yellow Hammer drink at Gillette's. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Petty. Petty, how are you, sir?
Glad to be here. Another Tuesday with the Avengers in the house. So let's rock.
Let's rock. The Avengers are ready to rock.
Nothing but the Tide.
No, we don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Hit that like, subscribe button. You know we're on the Bama standard. Get in the comment section. This is what we do here at the Final Whistle. And ready to rock and roll. Not only do we ready to rock and roll, but our sponsor likes to ready and rock and roll your business. Daniel, give us a few highlights of Workspace Solutions, sir.
That's right. I'm Daniel Petty. I'm with Workspace Solutions. You see the website right there, workspacepros.com. Check us out. We help your business grow. We can be your online digital presence from SEO, web design, anything you need, marketing. That's the first thing I should have said. I don't know why it came third, but anything you need to help your business grow online, that's what we do. Workspacepros.com, Workspace Solutions. Check us out. We sponsor these guys, so we got to have a screw loose somewhere, right?
So, yeah, we definitely have a couple screws loose on this show dealing with us guys, the Avengers. So, guys, we got a whole list of topics. We want to discuss new coaching hires, Bama basketball, the transfer from Michigan, Saab. I don't know. Saab. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Austin Mack. We're going to talk about all that good stuff. But, guys, before we get into coaching hires, a little sneaky breaking news kind of popped out. Guys, Caleb Odom put out a cryptic tweet saying, he changed his Twitter handle to no longer is it TE, but WR. I want to kind of discuss this. Give me your thoughts, and I'm going to go with Ty, Chris, Lushan, Dan, Patty. We'll wrap it up. Let's go.
Yeah, he's got wide receiver skill set, right? I mean, we've talked about this before. He would have been a mismatch at the tight end position. And he's got the prototypical size for tight end, but the prototypical athleticism of a wide receiver. And I think if you have someone like that and you can really play him at wide receiver, it is a supreme mismatch. And listen, I trust Coach Shepherd. I think that's one of the best hires Alabama has been able to make throughout the entire process. Retaining him, in my opinion, was massive. And if Coach Shepherd looks at you and says, hey, I think you're a wide receiver, his track record proves I'm going to trust what he thinks he can get done because that man can develop.
I love it. Chris?
Yeah, like what Ty said, I trust the coaching staff on this. He's very athletic. He's definitely a mismatch at tight end or receiver. He's kind of like a big DK Metcalf, like a big guy that small corners just struggle with. So you just got all you have to do is put on a tape, put on a film of him, and that guy's he's a stud, man, and he's probably the most underrated star in this recruiting class. You get what I'm saying? We have a lot of stars.
Yeah,
probably the most underrated star in this recruiting class. I think he's going to make an instant impact to the level of. I think he's going to be what we were hoping Billingsley and Knoblack would have been.
I love it. I love
it. When was the last time we had like a really productive tight end? Irv Smith?
OJ Howard?
No, Irv. Was it Irv? Irv was out OJ.
Irv, yeah.
Irv was the last one we had like a really, really productive tight end. I think that he's going to be that guy.
I like it. Lushan, give us your
I'm going to take a little bit different approach from it. I don't think we've seen a wide receiver like this at Alabama before. I think he ranges more on the lines of Mike Evans to me. That's for Texas A&M a couple years ago. The way his length and his speed, and that's not going to change in college. If anything, it's going to grow, and he's going to get faster. I think in this offense, with his size and his speed and the other integral parts we have and the burners we have, this offense is giving me chills just thinking about all the different types of schemes, screens, sleeks, streaks, everything that's going to be happening here coming in this spring. It's going to be exciting, guys. I'm excited.
Streaks. We're going streaking down by the quad. That final whistle, Dan, give us your thoughts, sir. You're on mute. You're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, definitely love the move, but you know, I want to let everyone know, you know, actually, wide receiver was like his natural position at Carrollton High. You know, they use him at wide receiver a lot. Very similar, same way they use Miller Forrestar. Miller Forrestar was a wide receiver before committing to Bama, becoming a tight end at Bama. You know, same school. Very similar guys, similar skill set, but Caleb Oldham much more athletic, better at high point the ball, getting separation. I'm loving it. So, you know, I think it's not, you know, like we're trying to get a tight end and teach him how to play wide receiver. You know, so he's going to give us the physicality on the outside, what we've been looking for the last couple of years, you know. But you know, overall, I'm loving the move.
I love it. Petty, speaking about going streaking, we're going to go be streaking down by the quad. Give us your thoughts, sir.
Well, y'all know I love moving guys to wide receiver, so I like the move. I said it a few weeks ago when we were talking about receivers. Luke, I don't know. I was wondering if anybody going to catch on to that. Lou's the only one over there.
I saw Lucian's laugh. I saw down in.
Yeah, y'all know I like guys getting that moving athletes to wide receiver. But I said a few weeks ago, man, when we were talking about who was going to be the surprise receiver, and I said Odom, and I know it was like, oh, he's a tight end, but I do see him in that. I kind of compared him to Evan Ingram because of his stuff, but I think he's more athletic than that. I really like Lou's call on Mike Evans. I think he's going to be put him in, like you said, put those burners on the outside, put that guy in the slot, getting the outside on certain routes. And this route tree that DeBoer has with a guy like that and your speed guys, oh, man, it's going to be a matchup nightmare. He's going to have linebackers running into themselves out there. So really excited about what we're going to see out of the Odom kid. He was one of my favorite guys in the whole recruiting class anyway. So the fact that he's going to be in an offense this dynamic is very exciting.
I totally agree with you guys. You know, y'all hit it on the head. Mike Evans comparison, DK Metcalf, all those. I just think he's going to be the ultimate chess piece. I think this was such a strategic move by DeBoer and kind of already playing mind games with opponents. Like they're already kind of setting it up for, okay, well, team's going to think they got to defend them at receiver. Then what if we end up moving them to tight end at certain sets? So it's going to be the ultimate chess piece, and I just love how the staff is already looking at personnel, getting ready to play to their strengths and utilizing these weapons that we have. So speaking now about the staff, guys, we had some new coaching hires. We know Alabama announced about Shepard and Nick Sheridan. But, guys, we were able to get the offensive line coach who was, I'm going to call him Coach Cap. I'm going to let Ty probably knows the enunciation of his name. And we were able to get a tight ends coach as well as Robinson, which I think is an upgrade for ends on the outside linebackers. I'm going to let Chris kind of.
I wanted to ask a question before we get lost in this.
Okay.
It's about this topic. And Justin, can you put it on the screen? The question from Todd that start. And this is a perfect time for you right there, Matt. I like to ask y'all as former players, what effect does all the coaching musical chairs have on the players? I mean, all of this is your coach. No, sorry, now this is your coach type of thing. What do you think, Matt? I'll let you go.
So I'm gonna give you a quick story. I was there with going from Coach Shula to Coach Saban. For me, it didn't really bother me as a player. We continued to work out, whatever. It was nothing we could do to control or put in requests to Mal Moore to go request a coaching. But at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control. You knew the season was coming up. You're doing off-season workouts. So 9 times out of 10, you putting in the grind, still going to workouts, but you're just curious. You're not necessarily stressed or anything like that. I mean, you're just confident in the AD, the administration, the leadership, and you just continue to handle your business and just confident in the leadership to make a good decision. That was my take. Chris, your thoughts?
And for me, like, we change coaches more than we change draws.
Once every 3 years, that's how much you change the draw.
That's right, bro. Like, hey.
Look, I had all the Mikes, Mike DeBoer, the Dennis Franchione, the Mike Price, the Mike Schuler. So it was like, for us, it really didn't bother us because we were there for each other, like the players. Yeah. Like Matt was my boy. We, you know, like all these guys, like we were homies. It was kind of like Petty, like if you're in a class and you get a new teacher in the class, or y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still got your boys with you, so it don't really matter who's leading. Right. But y'all, as long as y'all together, y'all are together, and that's how it was for us. So it didn't bother me, especially like because it never happened during the season. It happened after the season. Like when we were we didn't see them anyway, did we, Matt? We never saw our coaches in the spring except for mat drills. Yeah. That's really the only time we really saw it. We saw in the spring, you're going to see your strength and conditioning coach more than anybody.
Yeah.
In the off season, you're going to see those guys more. We saw TJ and Coach Martin and Coach Pollard and Coach Johnson more than anybody in the springtime. So position coaches, they come and go. So it really didn't bother us as long as we had each other. Now, if your boy left, you'd be like, oh, you feel some type of way if your boy would have transferred out. But we lived in an era where we really didn't transfer like that because we had to sit out a whole year. So we was like, man, you about to sit out a year, just go ahead and, and handle this right here and toughen it out. So it was that's how it was for us.
You always hear the phrase like if a quarterback's played for several different coordinators, does that affect him having to learn a new terminology, new offense every other year? Is that not a detriment to not be in the same system over time?
Not for a quarterback, that's different. But I was a DB. Defense is defense. You just have different terminology. Cover 3, cover 1, cover 2, cover 4, quarters, or man free or whatnot. It's all defense. You might have a few different blitzes, a few wrinkles, but it's defense, it's coverage. So all we had to do was just learn the terminology. But it was the same thing. If you got cover 3, you got deep middle or deep third. I mean, that's just what you have. It's just a different terminology. So for us defensive guys, it wasn't
a big deal.
Yeah, but for Matt, they went from Price, like ready to come in, an air raid to the pro style 3 yards in the cloud of dust.
To a route tree that consisted of 3 routes to then Mike Price.
A dig, a slant.
A slant, run the button hook.
Student body right, student body left.
Yeah. So that may have been different for them from thinking they're going to get 80, 90 catches to 27. So it may have been a little different for them, but for us defensive guys, it was all the same. So I can't speak for Matt's side of the ball.
Yeah, the only transfer portal me and Chris did, we transferred from Natty Ice to Budweiser. So, Hayes, get us your thoughts about the coaching staff hires, sir. And now this time I'm going to set the question up. Not only do I want you guys to give us your thoughts, give me who you think is your favorite hire, who kind of sticks out from all 3 of the new coaching hires, and I'll set it up like that. Ty Hayes, sir.
So I'm going to start with the offensive line coach, Chris Kapilovic. And this is an interesting one because of the experience he has. He has experience at South Alabama. When we actually go through his history, like I said, he was a GA at Kansas. I said South Alabama. I apologize. I mean Alabama State, and then was at Southern Miss, Missouri State. He was at North Carolina for a while. And while at North Carolina, he did a good job recruiting. He got several top 250 prospects as well as just going out there and being more than an offensive line recruiter. And that's always a sign to me when you look at one of these position coaches and they're out there recruiting wide receivers, defensive ends, interior defensive linemen, but he's the offensive line coach. North Carolina utilized him as a recruiter. So Kapilovic is going to be interesting, but we need to realize Alabama's offensive line has been bad for years. Over the past 3 years, they've averaged 99th in the nation in sacks allowed, averaging 39 sacks allowed a year. The fact that they've made it as far as they have is really a testament to how great every other aspect of the team was. The second name I want to talk about is actually the answer to your question, Matt. My favorite of the three, that's Brian Ellis. Brian Ellis, gentlemen, I think is going to be a name that we look back at here in a few years and we say DeBoer got a steal. This is a name that he could be setting up for the future in terms of who could be a future offensive play caller in this system. Brian Ellis led an offense that ranked 13th in the nation in terms of passing offense this past year. But when he was also at Western Kentucky, he was there when Bailey Zapp was there. He was co-offensive coordinator. That's the year that Bailey Zapp threw for almost 6,000 yards, 5,972, I believe, and 62 touchdowns. That's a really good hire. He was an offensive coordinator that came to be a tight end coach for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm really excited about this one, guys. I think that Alabama got a really good hire. I think this is one that we are going to look back on, like I said, really favorably, and he's from Georgia. He understands the SEC landscape. Another interesting tidbit about him is he worked with JT Daniels. JT Daniels' freshman year. The year JT Daniels looked the best as a college quarterback, Ellis was the quarterback coach out at USC. The guy's worked with quarterbacks. He's worked with wide receivers. He's from Georgia. He understands the SEC. And then finally, we get to Robinson, who was named in, I believe it was 24/7 Sports 35 under 35 list as someone to watch. He had a productive time at Florida, and I know that the Florida fans were kind of memeing around when they saw Alabama hired him, but I would like to remind everybody that that was Todd Grantham's defense, and the Grantham defense was terrible at Florida, and they like to blame him for him being the guy that kind of inherited play calling duties after they parted ways with Grantham. He didn't inherit anything good, right? Like that defense was all time bad. So 3 really solid hires. Interested to hear y'all's perspective on it, but Ellis is my favorite.
I love it. I love it. Ellis is Ty's favorite. Let's go to Lucian. I'm going to change the order up. Give us your favorite regarding these 3 new additional hires for the Crimson Tide.
I'm going to go with Christian Robinson as my favorite because you guys know I like defense. And some of the places that he stopped at, he's actually put up some impressive numbers, including the 1 year that Florida did actually have a good season that he was under over the inside linebackers, that they had, 49 sacks that year, and they were number 1 in the SEC, at least in 5 to 6 different categories. So, that's exciting, Our outside linebackers, have been producing, but they haven't been lethal like they were a couple of years ago. Yeah, we've had some good pass rushers, but I'm saying as a group, as a whole, I think he's going to help progress our pass rushing room and take them to the next level. My second one is definitely the offensive line coach. This dude is a go-getter. He gets after his players. You can see it in his coaching. He's not one of these guys that's going to be the players' friends. They don't need that. He's going to be someone that gets in their ass about stuff. And that's important, especially for the position, because we don't need no soft offensive linemen. We had that. We got all the pancaked out courts out of our system. We need to get on with some maulers. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
And,
Chris, oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh,
man.
no, I was just going to end with the last one. I'm interested to see, especially, with the shifting of the tight ends, what actually is going to come out of that room now, especially, with the changing of the position of Odom, who's going to step up into that second role after, a Danny Lewis or a CJ Dupree. It's going to be interesting to see.
I love it. Chris.
I like all 3 of the hires. The O-line coach, Chris Kapilovic, how you pronounce it, Ty?
Kapilovic.
Kapilovic. Coach Kapilovic. If you look at him, when he was at Michigan State, they were running the ball downhill with Kenneth Walker. That's with the Seahawks. They were a physical bunch. Y'all remember 2 years ago, they were a physical bunch.
Yep.
People who don't know anything, like that try to throw shade, they look at Baylor stats, but we were like, he just got to Baylor in December. He was not Baylor's O-line coach this past season. He just got to Baylor in December. So that's probably the reason why he was at Baylor, because of how bad they were. So to fix that problem. But just his track record, like going from Alabama State, Southern Miss, all those different places that he's been in the South. So he's veteran, he's seasoned. So I'm excited about that. He's going to bring physicality. If we're not going to get Huff, might as well get him. So that's not a bad hire at all, especially for what we need. We need guys to toughen up front.
Gotcha.
Like we need to bully guys around, get back to that style of ball. Brian Ellis, from what I heard when he was with Clay Helton, he was very a very impressive guy, a young guy. He's coached up good quarterbacks. He's and the thing about it, whenever you have a chance to have an offensive coordinator or a former quarterback coach at the tight end position, it's basically like you have another OC in the room. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very good thing. And then Christian Robinson, Dan and I were just talking about him yesterday about when he was playing against Bama back in 2012. He was a tough, hard-nosed guy, and how he had Florida humming back in 2019, he had those guys coming. They when he left, Florida defense pretty much pass rush left. He was solid there, and then he had Owen Papo at Auburn. He was there for his best season at Auburn, where he had 91 tackles his senior year, and we got him drafted day 3 as a day 3 pick, and he's currently still on the NFL roster. So he gets production out of his guys. And he's a recruiter, a great recruiter. So we need some tough guys to go along with Roach and Gillespie to be able to go and win some of these battles down in the deep South. Some of these households, especially the state of Florida and Georgia. So to have an Atlanta guy, a born and bred Atlanta guy on the roster, on the staff, I think that's good. And the thing about it, I just said that if we were going to lose Inge, I was never high on that. He's evolved. Nobody was. We didn't talk about that for a reason. But we said that we were going to get anybody. We need to get somebody with some SEC ties or somebody with ties to the Southeast, SEC, ACC, somebody with those type of ties. And we couldn't have gotten I feel like a better hire outside of somebody like Dante Hightower. But he took the job with the Patriots. So we can't get one of our guys. At least we'll get a guy that's played in the SEC and knows how to win those, how those wars go in the SEC. So I'm excited about all three of them. And I think that I think a lot of people are overreacting because you haven't heard of a coach, that doesn't mean they're not a good coach, people. Like, you're not going to hear about every single – this is college football. You're not going to hear about every single coach at all 100 and how many 21, however many D1 schools, FBS schools there are. You're not going to hear about every coach. It's good coaches out there, people, more than outside of the SEC. It's football being played outside the SEC, y'all. So don't panic. And DeBoer hasn't gotten where he is with his record by not knowing what he's doing.
Yeah. He's looking for guys that fit.
Don't give a pass about number time.
Thank you, Willie. Like I said, like Willie said, DeBoer is looking for guys who's fit his style. He's real methodical in his approach. He knows what he's looking for in coaches. So, Dan, before I give it to you, since you're our lead recruiting analyst, I know Chris kind of mentioned this. Who do you think is going to have such a great impact on the recruiting aspect of it of these three hires that we got from Ellis, Robinson, and Coach Cap? What are your thoughts from a recruiting standpoint?
Coach Cap, I like that, Matt.
Yeah, Coach Cap. I'm gonna keep it simple.
Coach Cap. That's it. Definitely. All three of them will be very successful at the University of Alabama's recruiting. But I'm gonna echo what Chris said. There's only one that has recruiting ties within this footprint of the Southeastern Conference. And that's our guy Christian Robinson. He played at Norcross High School. It's going to be very beneficial to us in the Atlanta area. But he would definitely, to make that give a short, quick answer, it would definitely be Christian Robinson because of his experience within the Florida, Georgia, Alabama area.
I love it. I love it. Appreciate it, sir. And Patty, give us your thoughts. Any one of these three coaches kind of stand out for you, or is your favorite? You kind of round us out on this topic, sir.
Oh, yeah. My first thought is I love when I do research on a topic and I get to go after Ty, who is going to say what I'm going to say, but much more succinctly with better stats and better backup. And then I'm just give a damn watered down Ty version. So I'm going to start saying when I've done research, can Ty go after me to say what I say, but better? No, I completely agree with Ty here. I think Brian Ellis is the star of this deal. He's been an offensive coordinator, and when you gamble on football, you watch a lot of crazy ass games. And I love Zap at Western Kentucky, and that offense was dynamic, and they utilize the tight end great in those offenses. So you're getting a guy that's ran really stout offenses, a good offense at Georgia Southern, and running just your tight end. That's kind of an all-star hire. And I know people are like, we don't know these names. We want these big names. And you got to get your start somewhere, people. But yeah. I also like what you're getting in Christian Robinson. I think the mix DeBoer's getting on this staff of Southern guys with his Northern guys he likes, but guys that have roots in the South. Christian Robinson's been at Auburn. He's been at Florida. He's been at Ole Miss. He's been at Mississippi State. He's been at Georgia. He has ties all across the South, and he's a good coach. He's going to be a good recruiter. He's going to bring knowledge with him and Gillespie and Roach on that staff. There's not going to be any problem getting in the households in the Southeast. So I don't know, man. I don't know much about Kapilovic, or didn't even say his name. I'm sure I said his name wrong there. But like I said, I like Ellis. I think he's the exciting one. What is it? Kapilovic?
Yeah. He works.
Ooh, Coach Cap. Yeah, man. We're sorry. In the South, we shorten things we can't say.
Yeah. So all the fans out there who's saying, "Oh, I don't know those coaches." 9 times out of 10, these fans can't even name 3 top position coaches, offensive line coaches available. So, I mean, I get it, guys. You got to trust DeBoer. Saban, he made some hires where we were like, I don't know. So, it is what it is. So, I'm excited about the hires. And like you all said, I think they're going to be impactful. I'm glad to see we finally got a kind of a hard-nosed offensive line coach. We got Christian Robinson, a young, energetic guy to really help with the Pierres and Keeleys and the Quay Rousseau, all these guys on the defensive end. So, and Brian Ellis, I think that's just another innovative mind to really put in DeBoer's, just mastermind of offense. You got Sheridan, you got Shepard, you got Ellis, you got Cap. Like, it's going to be scary hours for other teams. So I'm excited. So, guys, we're getting close to March. We're probably, about 11 days or so, 9 days. Well, it's the leap year, so about 11 days away from, 8 days. Yeah, it's 29th, sorry. We're about 8 days away from March Madness, guys. So let's kind of cover this. And I know Chris is kind of our resident basketball, him and Dan and Patty. I'll kind of talk about it, but Bama hoops, Bama Coach Oats, the Goats, got the tie rolling first in the SEC. They got Florida, I believe, tomorrow night. Then they got to make that road up to Rupp Arena in Lexington and Bluegrass State. Guys, what are your thoughts about Nate Oats, the great job he's done, and what can you say about Alabama? What is it going to take for Alabama to really get to that Final Four, Chris James?
Well, first off, it's only been 3 teams that have produced the offensive efficiency that Alabama has done so far this season, and that was the 96 Kentucky. No, it wasn't 96 Kentucky. It was the Duke team, the 99 Duke team, one of those UConn teams. I think it was the 2018? It was one of those UConn or Villanova teams. But make a long story short, all 3 of them played for a national championship, with one of them winning. But the thing about Alabama is on the defensive side of things, those teams were great defensive teams too. We're an average defensive team. Like, we show up when we want to, but we give up way too many points and we give up way too many offensive rebounds. We give teams a lot of second shot opportunities, and you can't have that in March. So, but on the flip side of it, this is the best shooting team that I've seen in a long time. When you really got not streaky guys, but 5 guys that can really flat out shoot it. Mark Sears can flat out shoot it. Latrell Wrightsell can flat out shoot it. Rylan Griffen can flat out shoot it. Sam Walters can flat out shoot it. And Jaron Stevenson can flat out shoot it. Those guys can flat out shoot the basketball. And then you have guys like that can get hot, like Estrada and Nelson, that can get hot. So on a neutral court in March, when you're not playing in a hostile territory, when it's like 50-50 or whatever the percentage may be, we can get some things done because we can outscore anybody on any given night. But it's those games like when we play the Tennessees or when we play the Auburn, those tough teams that are kind of bang you and they can score too. But we can make a run. We just got to tighten up defensively. We tighten up defensively, man. We can. There's not any team outside of UConn that's just like, mind blowing. UConn is good. Like they're UConn. They're still dominant, but we can still make a run, man. I believe we can make a run. This week is going to tell us a lot how we go into Rupp. Like, I expect us to handle Florida tomorrow night, but Saturday at 4:00 when we play Kentucky at Rupp, that's going to tell me a whole lot about about this team going forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I expect us to play when Tennessee comes in. I expect us to play lights out. But these games on the road that we have coming up at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, and at Florida, those are the games that we have to have if we're going to win this league. Because I expect us to beat Arkansas at home. I expect us to Tennessee's going to be tough, but I expect us to win that because I think you're going to get Bama's best shot. And I expect us to win Wednesday night. I expect us to take care of home the rest of the way out. It's those road games, those 3 that we have left. To win the league, we need to win 2 of them. In order to win the league, we need to win 2 of them to take care of business. So it can be done. Like, Nate Oats is the best coach in the SEC. Like, it's no question about it. He what he's done, four championships, 2 regular season titles, and 2 tournament titles in the last 3 years. That's impressive, man. Like, he owns the guy down at Auburn. I'm not gonna say his name. He owns. He's been owning Kentucky. He's been owning everybody really in the league. So I think that we're gonna make a run, Matt. Like, especially after what happened against San Diego State last year. Now we have the blueprint of what not to do.
Yeah. All right. Patty, give us your thoughts regarding the Tide. And Dan, I'll change the question up a little bit different for you after Patty goes.
Absolutely. This is absolutely. And, last year I thought was the year and it didn't happen. So usually that's the way sports work. So when you're not expecting it, it does. But, the games you're alluding to, Chris, the big losses at Tennessee and Auburn were on two road environments that were just, hornet's nest. One thing about it, when you get to tournament time, it's going to be neutral court. So you're not going to be dealing with that. It's all about who can shoot the rock. And man, if anybody can shoot the rock, nobody can do it like Alabama. And that's what you love about Nate Oats, is that killer instinct. You go back to the perfect example for me was the Georgia game this year. Maybe the worst offensive half I've seen Alabama play under Nate Oats. They started the game 0 for 10 from behind the arc, but he didn't change his philosophy. A lot of coaches will try to, let's work it in, get some easy buckets, get some confidence. Hell no. Nate Oats is fire, keep shooting the threes. And man, and that's why you see so many games where Bama's hitting the 100-point mark. It's just, yeah, I love the offense. I mean, and it's not just Sears is 20. He's your, he's 20. He's an automatic 20 plus. But more, you got Wrightsell that's a spark plug. You got Pringle coming off the bench. Man, if Nelson, you mentioned it earlier, if he can get to that 13-17 versus 9-13, this is a whole different ball game with this team. But yeah, man, it's just so many dynamic scorers. And once you get to tournament time, it's all about draw, and you don't have to go to these nasty road environments. We are going up to Kentucky. I hate that Kentucky is kind of they had hit a lull, lost like 3 home games in a row, which they've never done in the history of Rupp. But naturally, they've turned it on now. They beat the crap out of Ole Miss and look dominant, and they go on the road to Auburn, who doesn't lose at home, and big boyed their ass. So the thing about Kentucky, though, is they don't play defense. Well, guess what? You don't play defense against the Tide, you can turn around real quick, and they got 110 on your ass, and you better be scoring. So I really look for that game to be a shootout, and I'm excited about it. But I don't think that's the make or break. I think enough SEC teams are losing on the road. You don't really have to be completely perfect on the road, but I do think they get 1 or 2 of the Ole Miss Kentucky, more than likely the Ole Miss, but I think they got a shot with Kentucky, man. They don't play great defense, and nobody can score like Alabama. And this is also a testament to playing such a tough schedule early in the season. I mean, hell, Alabama just played the who's who among the top 10, and you're like, man, we're not winning any of these games. But now you look at this time of year, and this is a battle-tested team that knows how to win against teams that, aren't as good as those, and they're looking better. So, yeah, absolutely, I think this team has a shot at the Final Four.
All right, Dan, before I give it to you, I think right now Lenardi has Alabama projected as a 3 seed, I think going to Memphis. What are your thoughts? You think Bama can go higher or kind of just stay right there on the 3 seed, 4 seed cusp? And do you see them winning the SEC regular season?
Definitely. It's a possibility we can get to a 2 seed, but we're going to have to win these road games, like Chris say. We're definitely going to have to win at Rupp. We're going to have to beat Tennessee at home. Take care of home. We're going to definitely have to win at Rupp. I expect us to win down in Florida. But, yeah, we got to win these games on the road, Ole Miss. So the thing with this team, I think we got to shoot lights out to win it because we don't have the inside presence that we need to have. Sometimes in the postseason,
Bediako should have stayed.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And Clowney. Both of them should have stayed.
Yeah, we had, he was a huge eraser for us. He didn't fit our style of play, but he was the guy that we needed. Before that we had Bruner. We had Jalen Bruner. We're missing that big guy. It not just on the. He doesn't have to necessarily be a rim protector. Which would be great, but we have to have the inside presence, the physicality, the one to be able to push guys off the post. That's what we don't have. But it doesn't matter anyway because it's gonna be UConn and everybody else. Just being honest. But I think Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8, is our ceiling.
Got it. Yeah. I heard that, and I think it's going to be interesting. We're just getting close to March Madness, so we kind of want to throw a teaser out there before everybody starts trying to fill out their bracket before tourney time, because that's what we do here at the Final Whistle. So, guys, let's transition back to football. Big news on actually Monday. Not only is that, guys, we got a coach that tweets. How awesome is that? Like, Kalen DeBoer is firing off tweets left and right, and I'm like, I don't know how to take this. Like, it's crazy.
Felt like it was a burner account or something.
But yeah, we got Kalen DeBoer firing off tweets. He tweets out about the program, things he's excited about. So guys, not only did we have 3 additional hires, we were able to get 2 guys in the transfer portal in Keon Sabb and the tight end from Washington, who I think offers a lot of versatility for us on the offensive end and special teams wise. I know Lushan's going to get in that. Ty, give us your thoughts. I'm going to go Ty, Lushan, Chris, I'm going to go Patty, then Dan.
I'm going to get accused of not doing my research again after I go after Ty. Hey, by the way, he had 2 interceptions,
go Patty,
28 tackles.
Go Patty first. Go Patty first.
No, I just wanted to throw out some stats.
Go Patty. You go first. You go first, Patty.
He's good at football and had good stats, and Ty's going to tell us about all that stuff. Man, kid's great size. I mean, he's 6'1", 200 pounds. He had, 2 picks from the safety position. I think he's going to be a good addition to the secondary that's going to give a lot of these younger players, all these stud recruits, a chance to, grow in the system. I think he's a plug and play immediately. I think he's a baller. Sorry, Ty, you're giving me a hard time because
Go, Mr. Hayes.
Yeah, so just when you look at someone like this, to me, on top of their stats, like Daniel said, he has really intriguing stats in terms of usage, right? For not starting every game. He played in a lot of games, but for not starting, he was really impactful. But the thing that stands out to me is as the season progressed, as the moments got bigger, that's when the coaching staff started putting more on his shoulders. That says a lot to me about a young player, that whenever it was time for the national championship, whenever it was time for Alabama, he's getting more involved. That, I think, is something Alabama fans have to be really excited about. And secondly, whenever we're talking about this secondary, that was the area that Alabama had so many losses. I think whenever everybody talks about Alabama's transfer portal, quote unquote, exodus, it's a lot that's overstated. 2 days before Nick Saban retired, I was here the night before he retired. We were here talking about how Alabama should expect between 12 to 13 more transfer portal entries, and that was with Nick Saban. Mm-hmm. But since his retirement, the one room that has been hit is DB, but that's why you get a Damani Jackson. That's why you get a Keon Sabb. That's why you get all those 5 stars in that recruiting class. This is a really good addition. He has got range, he has got the physicality, and he's got the flexibility to play several different positions in this secondary. And when you're talking about a secondary that's going to be young and being rebuilt, that flexibility and versatility is massive.
I love it. Lushawn, give us your thoughts on Saab and the tight end, Cuevas, I believe his name.
I'm a fan of both of them. Like everybody said, Saab is just he's a cerebral athlete. Him playing multiple positions is going to allow us to try and plug and play different players. We're not going to have to be set on a certain lineup. Also, he's going to add to the competition in the room as well as depth. And another thing is, too, he has a familiarity with certain players on our team, a la the guys that came from IMG Academy, specifically Jahai Campbell. Having somebody that you played high school ball with in the fire pit with you is always going to be a plus, especially when you're trying to, actually get down to the nitty-gritty in the fourth quarter. You're going to need to trust somebody, and who better to trust than your old high school running mate, you know what I'm saying? So, and as far as the tight end, I know everybody's like, we got all these tight ends on the team, but this dude is physical. He is mean in the blocking scheme. I've seen some tight ends move some people, but on special teams, it's very rare to see a player that takes the pride in just erasing the opposition like this guy does. And I'm excited to see, because the speed we have that could possibly be in our kick return room, it's crazy.
Oh, look at us. Patty's
sorry about that. I'm hitting wrong buttons over here. My bad, Justin.
We know you were trying to zoom in some probably inappropriate website over there while Lushawn was talking.
I had my 56K going. I finally got them boobies to pop up on Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Hold on.
You can't have that many X's in the website title, guys. Come on, Patty. Chris, give us your thoughts, sir.
Man, I can't with y'all, man. Lou, what I'm gonna do with y'all, Lou? Man, but Keon Sabb, I think that he's the perfect fit for the Husky position in our defense. Man, can y'all imagine? It's 3 safety spots, right? And you have Malachi Moore, Devontae Smith, Tony Mitchell, Keon Sabb, and Bryson Hubbard competing for those 3 spots. Now, people were worried, oh, Bama losing everybody, yada, 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 yada. They were losing. But, dude, people didn't understand how talented we were, like how stockpiled we were at, just on the overall roster. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we lost guys, But hey, the cover wasn't bare by any stretch of the imagination. That guy's big, man. He's like close to 6'2", almost 210 pounds. He's very instinctive, has good ball skill. He's very physical safety that can either play in the deep half, or he can play underneath. He can cover the flats. He can do it all. So for the position that he's going to play, could you imagine him on one side and Tony Mitchell on the other side at the Rover? Like two big 210 plus pound guys that can just do it all. Like that'll hit you. So this right here definitely softens the blow of losing a Caleb Downs. Like you can't replace a Caleb Downs. Like I tell people all the time.
Who?
Yeah, right. Who? Like I tell people all the time. Like with Downs, he was more of a Landon Collins, more so than he was a Minkah Fitzpatrick. He wasn't a Minkah Fitzpatrick or that type, or Xavier McKinney type. He was more of a Landon Collins type. So for what he was asked to do, I think Keon Sabb can definitely fit that shoe that he left. So I think that we're gonna be fine, man. And I think that was a huge, very, very huge underrated pickup by getting him.
And one thing I'm gonna say this before I give it to you, Dan. I love how Coach Womack, I think Lucian and he was telling me how the way Womack rotates players. So a lot of guys gonna get, if you're proving on the field, you're gonna get some burn. Whereas, I think in the old regime, we kind of just was so set in stone with just running the same 11 guys
inside
out there. So I think we're going to be able to have a lot of versatility, a lot of interchangeables, and really put a lot on offenses from the defensive perspective. Dan, give us your thoughts. You're our lead recruit now. Let's give us your thoughts and maybe some potential other Michigan guys on the horizon, possibly. Give us your thoughts regarding Sabb.
Oh yeah, definitely love Sabb. What stands out to me about him is his size. With number one, that's first thing. His athleticism with the size. I think his calling is going to be in run support. His ability to help out in run support, be able to play in the box, around the line of scrimmage. Also be able to cover the big receivers or the tight ends and backs out the backfield. It's going to be very beneficial to us. It's going to, and this offense is, this defense is safety friendly. The 4-2-5 is a safety friendly defense. It allows guys to move around. So we'll be able to take advantage of his versatility. Also I want to give a little shout out to Josh Cuervos. I'm sorry we couldn't get his brother Jose Cuervo, but
I got him with a shady mile.
So I got him in the back. He got the silver and the reposado
with the shady mile.
But yeah,
his brother's why I had my fun on the strip most of the night.
I'm sorry, I threw that squirrel in the room.
You were going streaking on the quad. That's the reason you were going. Because the Cuervo
wife cut me out. One of the wedding vows was no more tequila.
Shoot. Hey, Dad.
Yeah, boy, I'm crazy.
I love it.
Tuscaloosa don't count when I'm by myself. I say that on there.
Yeah, you can. Go.
Why do I do it? Why do I do it?
Open the door.
Man, it's all on you, Dan. The preacher
run right through it.
The preacher brings up tequila, man. It's over.
Deacon Dan.
Yeah.
You knew what it was gonna do, Dan.
You knew what you're dealing with us. We have a few screws loose.
All right, back on cue. Back on cue, y'all. We're 10 minutes away.
All right, shots around, guys.
All right. You done, Dan?
What I was going to say about Josh Cuervos is he only had 4 catches, I think, for 163 yards from a tight end. 2 plays of over 50, 2 receptions over 50 plus yards. Hey, he's a big play tight end. You know, he had I think he had a catch in the national championship game. You know, so he has experience, and you know, so I like to pick up. You know, so you know, anytime you get experience, anytime you get guys to be able to prove the roster, you know, you gotta love it. But I'm gonna go ahead.
All right, cool. So, guys, let's get on that last topic. You know, we kind of discussed it. You know, spring ball is only a couple weeks away, I believe. So, Bama starting the fourth quarter drill, seeing a lot more football. And, guys, let's talk about this guy who transferred from Washington named Austin Mack. And I kind of want to get your thoughts regarding him and his potential, you know, at Alabama in this offense and what he can do. So I'm gonna let Ty kind of set it up, but I'm gonna give different questions to each of you guys to kind of change it up regarding Austin Mack. So Ty, give us your analysis regarding who is Austin Mack, all the details you like to do, sir.
So Austin Mack is so interesting because if we go back to his high school days, this was a guy on the precipice of 5-star status, and then he reclassified, enrolled early, and was still a top 100 player in the nation. And I always think back to a offseason ago, Josh Pate was doing his rounds in terms of talking about all these teams. And he started talking about Washington, and he was saying that the Washington coaching staff was talking about a quarterback that they loved, and Pate just assumed it was going to be Penix, because why wouldn't it be? And the answer was, of course, Penix, but it was Austin Mack. That was a guy that this coaching staff was like, he has got a incredible upside. And in terms of coming into Alabama right now, has the luxury of being the only quarterback on roster that knows the offensive system, or one nearly identical to the one that we will be running at Alabama. You know, if you want to say that Sheridan will have some wrinkles that are a little bit different than what Grubb had, fair play. But at the end of it, Austin Mack is the only one that really knows the ins and outs of the offense, which is going to be great for every quarterback on the roster. And I'm really excited to see it. But the crazy thing is if you look at pictures of him, you'd think he was an edge. He is massive human being.
I love it.
I thought he
Chris.
was Keon. I thought he was Keon Keeley. They said, no, that wasn't Keon Keeley. That's Austin Mack. Like, geez.
I love it.
On that sushi video.
Chris, I'm going to give you a different question. Give me your player comp regarding Austin Mack and, you know, sprinkle your analysis on it regarding, give him your player comp, what you heard, and what do you think his potential to be at the QB position?
What I've heard, what I've seen from you know, different people that have seen him, they compare him to a Cam Newton, but a better passer.
Okay.
It's going to be hard to find somebody that runs it like Cam Newton, because Cam Newton was like unreal. But as far as size-wise and everything, like I've seen him compared to Cam Newton, but he has a big arm and he can make all the throws. And I can't really think of a quarterback, because I wanted to say Jamarcus Russell at LSU, just a big guy with a big arm, but he's not that type. I mean, as far as somebody that's big with a big arm, not like playing style, not work ethic, nothing like that.
Not hooked.
Don't make me come down there.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Right. You name it. You just
not hooked on cough syrup with mush for brains.
Yeah. But just think of a big quarterback with a big arm. You get what I'm saying? And I really he's different, man. I really can't, body wise. I'm thinking Cam Newton.
So Cam Newton with a mix of Michael Vick with some Tom Brady, and okay.
He's crazy, but I mean, as far as size wise. But for example, DeBoer likes quarterbacks that can make all the throws, like big arm quarterbacks. He likes guys that's going to stand back there and and that can throw to all levels of the field, all on every platform. And that's part of the reason why I guess he chose him over Julian Sand. So that right there alone says a lot of how they feel about him. You're willing to let the best quarterback in the 24 class arguably by a lot of people, walk to bring your guy in from Washington. You have that much faith in him. So I don't know, man, but I mean, just think of a big guy, 6'6", 240. That's huge, man. He's bigger than tight ends, So he's going to be in the pocket. He's going to stand tall. So and he's going to deliver it. But as far as player comes, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what I've seen Cam Newton, with the better, as a better passer.
I like it. I can see a little, just big arm strength. I can see a little bit of Josh Allen in there somehow, just as far as arm strength. So, Lushawn, before I give it to you, I'm going to change the question up. Give me what you really like about Austin Mack. What is your favorite attribute about him? And what do you think that's going to help in this QB room?
I would definitely say my favorite attribute about Austin Mack is his calmness and poise. He reminds me of Donovan McNabb when he drops back in the pocket and he gets ready to rock and fire. Like, it's decisive. You know it's going to be what it should be, and there's no playing about it. He doesn't kind of like nifty, sissy foot around with what he wants to do. He already knows what he wants to do. He has the ability to make checks, and he doesn't miss a check down. And he's very, very accurate from what I've seen his numbers. I mean, he was 70% in high school. I know it was high school, but guys, he forewent his senior year and enrolled in college. You don't do that unless you're him. So the fact that he's been able to just kind of defeat the goals in front of him, get that bully off his back. I mean, he did it as basically a true freshman. He was a junior last year, but he was at Washington. So I think the kid has one incredibly high ceiling, and it's going to be very, very fun to see him progress because, I mean, like you said, he's 6'6". He's taller than damn near everybody on the team. And the fact that he's only a freshman, he going to only get bigger. So everybody worrying about his slim size right now, he's a freshman. Watch what he looks like come fall, because I'm going to tell you, he's going to be a unit.
Hey, Teddy.
A cannon.
What's that quarterback name that played for the Seahawks? That 6'8" dude, was it McGuire?
Oh yeah, I mean,
what was his name? Yes,
I'm going back. I'm thinking Randall Cunningham.
We haven't seen a quarterback with athleticism that is
throw
this
it like
high.
that too.
Right?
Yeah.
We haven't. We're a team full of hybrids.
I like Randall
everybody
Cunningham.
Cunningham was the last man. Cunningham, man, was the first like tall, but he could run. But man, Cunningham had a cannon.
I like that comp. Petty, your thoughts about Austin Mack? And since you're a fan favorite in Tuscaloosa, do you see him potentially? This is your question. Do you see him potentially taking over and being the starting quarterback for the Tide?
Just gonna put the spotlight on him.
And I get I didn't hit the button this time. This wasn't me. I don't know, man. It's Milroe's job to lose. He's been in the program too long. But yeah, I mean, look what this kid's done. Look what I agree with what Lou has said. You don't come out of high school a year early, which, I mean, let's be real. He was lighting it up in high school, but how much the coaching in high school isn't always there. So he was smart enough to graduate early. So he's got something between the ears. We were all just hoping to damn graduate high school. Yeah. And here he is coming out a year early and going to a college program to get trained for a year in the offense that he's now at Alabama. So he's had a year of working in a college system, seeing the speed of the game in practice, working with it, not having to worry about, winning the starting job, but just learning to play the game. And again, he comes with 6'6", all the intangibles, got the cannon. He's got the mind, I don't know, man. It's so hard to tell with a new coaching staff how they roll with competition and how they're going to do these type of things and what they do to try to keep locker room continuity. But, the biggest thing I think was said in all of this is what Chris said. so many coaches get hung up on the stars or how big players are and don't want to lose them. And it's like, you know what? I'll keep this player because he's so good and just make it work. And then it doesn't work because as good as that player is, it doesn't fit the coach's philosophy. One of the things that makes me, really believe in DeBoer above anything else is he came into Tuscaloosa that had, like you said, the number one quarterback prospect in the country sitting here waiting on him. And he said, nah, that's not my guy. My guy's this guy. Yeah, if he believes that much in him, I think we'll see. I think we're going to leave A-Day, and a lot of people are going to be like, damn. Kind of like when we left A-Day and nobody knew who Jalen Hurts was, but you left that A-Day and you're like, Hurts was that freshman was the best quarterback on the field that day that moved the offense the best. I think we could see that again this A-Day with Mac.
I love it. And I'll say one thing I love about Mac is, I know LaShawn and I talked about this, like junior days or any type of recruiting visits, he is with the team. Like he's helping recruit guys to Tuscaloosa. Like he's bought into the team. He's a team guy. Like he's pushing his ego aside. He's trying to do what's best for the program. Like he believes in DeBoer and that system so much. So I think Dylan Lonergan has done that as well. So Dan, your thoughts regarding Austin Mack and his potential, sir?
Yes, love his size. I'm gonna give y'all another guy. Sticking with the Rob Bass and Easy Rock theme. When I give his name, y'all will get it. Matt Jones from Arkansas.
Arkansas, okay.
Big quarterback, big arm, very athletic, so hey, like you said, DeBoer brought his guy in. He brought him in for a reason, so he's gonna definitely improve and he's gonna challenge that quarterback room. He knows the system, big, huge arm. He could go into the outside linebacker room and fit in. You know what I'm saying? So, he's not just lean, Lucian. He's well put together,
No, I was addressing the comment. That's not what I think, Dan. I was addressing this comment.
Okay, I missed it. I haven't been in the comments.
He's 245.
He's around 230, I think. I'm thinking of what he is now. But yeah, he's well put together, so we'll see. But it depends on, as far as his chances as being the quarterback. It depends. This is not Nick Saban's team anymore. Coach Saban, he wanted his quarterback to be the leader. That's what he wanted. He wanted the guy that, like you say, grab the bull by the horn. So we don't know. Coach DeBoer might want something totally different. We don't know, so we'll find out. But it's Jalen's team to me. It's Jalen's job to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna end on this. This is Coach DeBoer did some speaking today. And he did say, they asked him about the QB, what he's looking for. He said, I'm certainly looking for a guy who can deliver the ball to the skill around him. There's 11 players on the football field, both sides of the ball. You want to maximize each and every position. And that can be done in different ways. And he did say, they asked him about Milroe, his mobility. He said, obviously you look at Jalen and sees his ability to move and run and all those things. But I love what he said at the end. He says, what do you look, mainly specific type of the personality. He says, you need a guy who's poised, a guy that when the big moment comes is confident and his teammates feel that. And he says, I think there's things that you do as a quarterback beyond the skill set just in leading the football team that comes with repetition, confidence, great preparation, being that guy who brings it every single day, every single moment, and the team feeding off him. So to that, it's going to be an interesting QB race. Like I said, I think Milroe's going to get first shot at it. I think Milroe just got to get in the lab and work on it. But like we said, Austin Mack, he's no pushover. Lonergan's no pushover. Ty Simpson's no pushover.
Ty's gonna throw his name in the hat.
Ty's gonna be ready, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So we just want to give a QB tease tonight.
Yeah, I am.
Ty Hayes is gonna put his name in there.
Ty.
He's a beast. He's a beast. coming out there.
Show them Doug Flutie moves.
How much you want to bet I could throw a football clear over those mountains over there?
I love it. I love it. Guys, before we go around the horn and talking about our social media contact and everything, we want to remind everybody to tune into the Crimson Dynasty tomorrow night. Yes, that's the Crimson Dynasty. Tomorrow night, C. Payne's show. Dan, I believe, is on that show.
You believe?
I believe, yeah.
I signed a contract saying that I was.
Oh, you signed a contract. I thought y'all was still in negotiations. Sorry.
You believe you could fly.
Got to get a couple more zeros added, but we'll see how they go.
Oh, okay, cool. Dan, the man, the star of the show. He's on there tomorrow night, Crimson Dynasty, and right after that, you got George Teague's take here on the Bama Standard. So it's listen, the Bama Standard is your one-stop shop. We feel like it's the best place for Alabama content. But in the meantime, always come back to the Final Wilson. That's what's important here. You get the loose screws, the Avengers. We give you comedy, X's and O's, and we make it fun. So we enjoy all the fans out there, all the trolls. Y'all keep coming, keep bringing them along. So let's go. Ty, how can they reach you since you're on your retreat from getting re-energized?
The February sabbatical is going good. It was a long season, right? The body took some strain, so we gotta get limber again. We gotta work through some things, and then we get back at it in March. But the February sabbatical is going good. I'm happy to report. Until then, you can just find me at Around the Table Sports. I talk into a microphone.
You do a great job, man. We enjoy it. Lucian, how can you be reached, sir?
You can find me on Twitter, Roluce21, Facebook and Instagram, Lucian Graves. I'm always on there talking something Alabama football. I'm still in the research part of what I got going on right now. Currently, in and out of airports, trying to just find a new scenery in the project I'm trying to work for, as far as the dark scene on the weekends. But we'll have some new updates on that here in the next couple months. But I got my show getting ready to start. Hopefully, in the next couple weeks, we had some things go down. I couldn't get it done for you guys, but hopefully we get that to you guys here in the next couple weeks. The Ivory Files. It's going to be hot. It's going to be new. It's going to be a real deep dive on Alabama football on film.
I'm ready to jump on.
Yeah, let's go. So that's again. Be on the lookout for the Ivory Files. Let's go.
He said deep.
Chris, how can they find you, sir?
You can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. You can find me on X at Coach Chris James, on Instagram at CKJ Senior 32. And Matt and I, we've been talking about this for the last couple of years. With the draft coming up,
unofficial GM, baby.
GMs. We're gonna get together and get y'all some stuff. Petty, I know Petty will love to get in on this.
I would love to talk about the draft and all the quarterbacks that we have never heard of that'll go in the first damn round because they look good in underwear in practice. The Keely Smith Award, going back to 98.
Quick question.
Yeah, let's talk draft.
Chris, since y'all the unofficial GM, who's your first quarterback you taking off the board? Is it Caleb Williams?
Daniel, without a doubt. Jaden Daniel, without a doubt. Like number one, dude. Come on, man. This dude didn't have a bad game.
He's sick. He's
Brandon Williams had bad games. Drake May had bad games. Bo Nix had not too many bad games. He played better above his head.
Well, and Caleb Williams is a bitch. Let's be real.
Jaden Daniels did not have a bad.
Bo Nix is 30.
And Bo Nix is 40 and still ain't beat nobody worth a pulse.
Right.
Hey, check this out. Hey, Ty, I may be wrong, but didn't Jaden Daniels end up with better numbers than Joe Burrow?
Ooh, I actually don't know about that.
I believe he may have. I believe that may be accurate.
Like
Yeah,
that
I got Jay Daniels. He's my number one quarterback.
Oh, I'm taking Daniel's the only quarterback in this draft I'm taking. The rest are a bunch of bums.
dude, Jaden Daniels.
He ain't lying. They are a bunch of bums.
Bunch of bums.
Yeah.
I mean, why you got to take one just to take one?
The Bears will be extremely
Because that's the
insane.
rules.
That's
They
the rules.
will be insane. The Bears will be insane to move Justin Fields just to take another young quarterback and struggle some more. Like I just don't get their line of thought.
No.
But people are hating on that kid from Michigan, man. But one thing about him, that joker accurate. He's accurate.
Who?
To answer that last
Michigan's quarterback. I saw some film on him. Like he put balls in spots, man. Like we haven't given him enough credit, but that guy made some throws.
Me too.
hey,
I like to put balls in spots too.
Balls and spots everywhere.
to answer the last thing about Jaden's numbers to Burrows, no.
Oh, Burrow's sick.
It wasn't
We
close.
got to be careful here at Alabama
total
about
yardage. Total yardage.
promoting balls.
No.
in places.
Jaden rushed for over 1,000, didn't he? And he threw for over 4,000 and rushed for over 1,000.
No, he only threw for 3,000.
What was his final stat line?
3,800 and 1,100.
1,100 rushes. So he had close to 5,000 yards.
Yeah, Joe Burrow threw for over 5,000 yards. That year.
My bad, Joe. I'm sorry, Joe.
And 50 plays.
He threw for 5,671 yards that year.
Oh,
Almost 6.
He almost threw for 6,000 yards,
hey,
dog.
But can we all agree? that while Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors are bad guys, they weren't no Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson.
Right.
No.
But
Malik Neighbors ain't
Malik Neighbors is
he
the
ain't no
truth.
pushover. I ain't gonna listen. He
That
is
is the truth.
Hey, we all know who should have won the Blendikoff Award.
Yeah, it should have been
We
Malik.
all know that should have came to the SEC.
I know.
Malik Neighbors, without a doubt, should have won it. He's a bad boy.
Speaking of a bad boy, Dan, how can people reach out to you, sir?
okay, yeah, you can reach me on Twitter at the Final Whistle Dan. You catch me 2 nights out the week, right here in this very show here, the Final Whistle. By the way, y'all hit that like and subscribe. I don't think anybody mentioned that tonight. That's how we pay the bills here around here. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to keep Chris' phone on. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on the laptop tonight, baby.
Like and subscribe.
I heard that.
Yeah,
When-
Chris, man, service been good all night.
Yeah,
He got that new Reynolds wrap, aluminum foil, and the
Sorry, Dan.
I'm not using this. I'm not using this iPhone tonight. This iPhone is. I don't
he
know.
got his son standing on the roof with the clothes hanging.
Let's try this every week. It would be fun to just try doing this like this every week.
Y'all all of it can't be ADHD.
Patty, before I ask them how they can reach you, give us your Auburn joke. Roast Gus Mouse on real quick before you get your socials off.
Oh, I like the Gus bus, but I don't have any jokes because I'm still upset because they kicked me off farmersonly.com because I never attended any class at Auburn or Mississippi State. So, Auburn, I keep hearing that it's over for Bama, but when does it begin for Auburn? So if it's over, when does it start? Like, does it start at the massage parlor? Does it start when burner phones start going out?
I'd say it's when escorts show up.
Does it start when they show the 37 ginger girls in your student section who are all going to cut some dude's junk off at some point in their life, cheering like mad? Like, when does it begin on the plains for Auburn? I don't know.
After they cow tip.
I might could understand a little more if y'all would let me on farmersonly.com, but y'all won't. So,
Final Whistle after hours.
wiggle.
We've been kicked out of everything at this point.
With that said, you can find me here on Tuesday nights. Sometimes I do a podcast with Week Zero Sports. Petty_Daniel on the X Twitter. And I'm on Facebook. There's not many PTTEYs in the world. So if you look up Daniel on that one, it's probably going to be me. There you go. That's it. Wiggle.
I love it. Wiggle, war chicken. But at the end of the day, we don't give a piss about nothing but the tide.
Nothing but the tide.
On these 2 words on the Final Whistle. Roll Tide.
Tide.
everybody.
Roll Tide.
See you next week. Tune in again.
Right here.